0262 351 251. Puma Drinks, another quality product from Casa Preco Company Limited, and this ad is FDA approved. Amela Justice got the latest 411. What's up, girl?
I'm good, Lexus. Yourself?
I'm okay.
Awesome. So, if you missed out on Showbiz A to Z this past Saturday, let me bring you up to speed on what was discussed on the show, which is hosted by Kwame Dadzi, your regular host. So the lecturer at the Department of Dance Studies at the University of Ghana was on the panel, and his name is Terry Bright Ofosu, and he has asserted that, look, one of the ways to elevate our traditional dance is for musicians and those in the media industry to, record our traditional songs and dance and then play them on air, give them some rotation on air to, spread the message wide and near. Take a listen to Terry Bright Ofosu.
Those who are in the music industry must figure out how to be able to record our kete, our palogo, our bambaya drum without any other instrument to get the original raw something that you can play on the air. That is if you want to go viral as a solo teacher or whatever. For instance, when you take some of the drum patterns like Achiagbeko, there's a master drummer. And there are other supporting drums. You must have that ear. Our engineers do not have that ear. That ear is based on that indigene, that master drummer who is there.
That's a call in the right direction, because considering it as I don't want to use that word, but considering your fate as a dancer right now, as bleak as it's looking, yeah. The whole traditional thing may give you a boost in your career, your dancing career, as it stands.
Your lens, is it?
What has my lens got to do with this?
Why are you laughing?
But what has my lens got to do? I've seen you dance, Lexus.
I just need to know.
Lexus, I've seen you dance.
You said bleak, so I just need to know whether we need to clean the lens or
No,
something.
my lens is clean. It's
sure?
sharp
Is it fine?
and clear. Trust me.
Is it hypermetropia or myopia?
Myopia.
Because I don't understand what you mean.
No. Maybe that could give you a chance and boost your career in that in sector. If the whole piano and the whole Azonto thing is not working for you, maybe Balogo, I can try my hands on Adowa and see how it goes. So you should, it's just a compliment.
I am a certified Bobo dancer.
Where you have Bobo looking like you gathering rubbish from the floor. Which one? So that's just what you missed out on Showbiz A to Z this past Saturday. Let's talk about the rap genre and Ghanaian rapper Amrado, who was the current VGMA Best Rapper of the Year award recipient. He's expressed his commitment to keeping the rap genre thriving in the music industry. And listen to how he seeks to do that.
Yes, 100, I am the reigning VGMA Best Rapper. Ghana Music Awards USA Best Rapper, and there's a whole lot of responsibility on me, which is why I've been able to churn out a chorus on a beat where I give out to the youngins to rap on, and I post it on my TikTok. The minimum views is around 100,000, and I believe that I'm also throwing light on them in my own.
Yeah, so that was Amrado in an interview with Jason. Turn attention now to Nigeria, and Nollywood actor Kanayo says that, look, Nigerian movie industry, which is popularly known as Nollywood, should not be a ground for ladies who undergo Brazilian butt lift, what we know as BBL or liposuction, and girls who are normally into runs, their local parlance for prostitution. Take a listen to Kanayo.
Nollywood should not be a ground for BBL, bomb enlargement. Nollywood should not be a ground for people doing runs. Nollywood should not be a ground where people's dollars and these things are stolen in hotels. And they generalize all these Nollywood girls. It's not a ground for gay lesbianism. It's a ground for creativity. Nollywood is not a ground for learning how to act. Many people come to Nollywood to learn how to act. You're supposed to come to the industry to better and hone your talent. Many girls are hearing Genevieve millionaire or Omotala. Hey, billionaire. Many ladies, they now go and book with on and come deceiving themselves. We all have the different sectors. Everybody's welcome. But the fact is, find out whether you have a calling for acting.
Well, so that was Kanayo in an interview with Ifya TV. I don't know if you agree with him like this.
But I'm just wondering how Nollywood has become a ground for BBL, and is it like a requirement now?
I don't know, cause when we've seen some actresses back then, they were they were having a darker skin tone, then all of a sudden they don't look voluptuous and all that, and I think there's a cause for concern though. He has a point there, because you realize the talent is diminishing whilst the specs continue to upgrade and advance in ways.
The talent diminishes and the bomb increases. Okay.
As I say,
I see.
Bomb sales. Bomb does more sales than most of the ride-hailing apps.
I'm just surprised that it's a thing. Do you understand what I mean? Because I thought it's just, there are people who will go for their BBLs and whatnot, but it looks like the actresses are...
It's serious. So I mean, that's.
But what's wrong with it anyway?
What's wrong with what?
With them doing the BBL to enhance.
It's personal choices. That's their choice.
Yeah, but why is it a problem?
I think
for the
he's
industry?
talking about the decline in the creativity bit and the
No,
talent.
he's talking about the increase in BBL.
He's saying that the BBL has increased.
But hold on. Yes, but why is it a problem?
It's a problem because they don't act well. They can't act
because of the BBL.
Because of the BBL,
the BBL
they've been
holds
introduced
them
into
back from acting or what? I don't
So
understand.
these are people. These are not like most of the new faces he's talking about.
So because of the BBL, they can't act.
They don't know how to act, but they are in the industry because of BBL.
You are saying two different.
He is saying that these people can't act, but because of BBL, they are now on our screens all over the place. Yes.
So now it's a prerequisite.
I can't say.
Then find out from him.
What am I going to say, Kanayo? I mean, sacrifices must happen.
But you came with a
sacrifices must happen, so you will consider that one. Sacrifices must be made, so I'll make that sacrifice and go and find Kanayo for you.
So your never mind.
My what?
No, it's okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Naturally given.
We urge you to continue supporting the party in our quest to break the 8.
We have the latest as the party calls out Mr. Kyerematen challenging his basis for resigning from the MPP.
In reference to Mr. Kyerematen's concerns, which include allegations of intimidation against his supporters, that certain government appointees, including cabinet ministers, who openly declared their support for him, are still at post and have never been intimidated.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. It has been 24 hours since former Trade Minister Alan Kyeremanten dropped that bombshell, breaking away from the MPP to run as an independent candidate. The biggest unknown was who else within the party's hierarchy, rank and file, will follow him out of the MPP. Well, tonight, the party is issuing an urgent plea to all party members who used to support Mr. Kyeremanten to stay. The General Secretary of the MPP has been addressing a news conference.
In reference to Mr. Kyerematen's concerns, which include allegations of intimidation against his supporters, it is noteworthy that certain government appointees, including cabinet ministers, who openly declared their support for him, are still at post and have never been intimidated. To all party faithfuls who were hitherto supporting Mr. Kyerematen by virtue of his membership in the party, though it is disappointing and distressing, we urge you to continue supporting the party in our quest to break the 8. Together, we shall overcome challenges, and together, we shall achieve success.
Well, today we have been hearing from some party stalwarts who had backed Mr. Kyerematen when he contested in the MPP Superdelegates Congress. Many are staying put, refusing to follow Mr. Kyerematen out of the MPP. Listen to MP for Mpraiso, Davis Opoku-Ansah, and former Mensah North MP Collins Owusu-Amankwa, who had all supported Mr. Kyerematen's campaign to lead the MPP before his resignation yesterday.
Well, they say the emotion that can break your heart is sometimes the very one that feels it. But in all things, let's give thanks to the Almighty God. Certainly, I'm not a happy person. This is the man that I have personally supported since 2005 as a party man. And he has now declared his intention to go independent presidential candidate. I can only wish him well, but the principle is that I, Kwame Owusu-Amankwa, remain with the elephant symbol. I'm NPP man, I'm a patriot, and I'll continue to champion the cause of New Patriotic Party.
And that, by the way, is one of those who was a loyalist, supported Alan Kyeremanten throughout. Now, the Deputy Finance Minister, Abena Osai-Asare, also issued a statement today distancing herself from Mr. Kyerematen. She has been one of the few notable serving ministers on Mr. Kyerematen's campaign team when he ran to lead the MPP. My colleague Kweku Asante was at the MPP press conference and joins me in the studio with more. It appears, Kweku, that the party made it a point to show that many previous supporters of Mr. Kyerematen have deserted him.
Yes, in fact, Nana B actually did a roll call. Okaikwe Central MP and Patrick Boama, hitherto we did not even know publicly that he was backing Alan Kyeremanten. According to the party, he backed Alan Kyeremanten and he's staying put. They mentioned Honorable Sylvester Tete and a host of others. But one other person who actually came to this news conference, came to stand behind the leadership of the party, was Catherine Afeku. She was a minister and was one of the few vociferous persons who was leading Alan's campaign. According to Madame Afeku, I caught up with her. She's sticking with the NPP because no individual person is bigger than a collective of the New Patriotic Party.
The Honorable Alan Kyeremanten had come out to the public that he has withdrawn from the race, and any patriotic citizen who believes in the ideals and the principles of the New Patriotic Party, through which we met him, humbly will stay within the party. So if you use the word abandon, and I think you need to correct that. That is the very essence of what will make some people stay in the shadows. So you should actually ask, are you still in the party, or you have also left? Because we are above 21, we make our own decisions. So son, I am still a member of the New Patriotic Party, a dues paying member, up to date, and actually a full communicator for the New Patriotic Party. So I am a loyal patriot and I'm in the party.
I won't tell you about this decision.
No, I don't think we're here for that. I'm here to support the party, and I want to reiterate that again. The party is supreme. So let's send that message out there that we are the New Patriotic Party, and our symbol is the elephant.
Kweku, what about all the reasons Mr. Kyerematen gave for resigning? Does the party accept he had a case?
The party says Mr. Alan Kyeremanten actually misrepresented the facts when he made that press conference. In particular, Alan Kyeremanten had spoken about an alleged hijacking of the NPP by certain elements within the Dankwa Buzia tradition. The General Secretary, Justin Frimpong Kodua, is clear that some of the issues Alan had raised were simply untenable, and in fact, they had answers to all of them, and that it's not true that the party has been hijacked. It is not true that its supporters were intimidated, and all those claims are simply unfounded.
The leadership of the party equally disagrees with the assertion made by Mr. Kyerematen in page 8 of his resignation address that the party has been hijacked by a selected group of party leaders and elders and government appointees behind the curtain power brokers. Guided by the facts and data, the leadership of the party disagree entirely with this assertion. Historically, the selection of flag bearers for political parties in Ghana has been the preserve of a privileged few until the new patriotic party took the bold decision to decentralize the process by expanding its electoral college to enfranchise some 106,590 delegates in 2010. Currently, about 200,000 delegates will be voting to select the party's next flag bearer relative to the estimated 1,998 who did same in 1992. Clearly, the quantum leap to 200,000 delegates in 2023 underscores the decentralization of power to all party stakeholders and defeat the assertion that the party has been hijacked by a privileged few.
And Kweku, yesterday we observed Alan Kyeremanten chose a forum to announce this, a news conference, very well covered. It appears the party is not happy with that.
Yes, the party says the national chairman had actually had some conversation with Alan Kyeremanten post the period that he announced that he was no longer going to run for the flag bearership race any longer. And that in fact, Alan had not given any information at all that he was going to take such a decision to allow the party to take any decision if they wanted to. So according to Justin Frimpong Kodo, it appears Alan had actually thought about this decision. It was premeditated, and that what Alan has done simply means that he has irrevocably decided to leave the party.
The disappointing part is the mode in which he decided to resign from the party, which was through a press conference without prior notice to the party. The party wants to believe that by his decision to hold a press conference to resign without first informing the leadership of the party suggests that he made a premeditated and irrevocable decision to resign from the party. It needs emphasizing that when the national chairman visited him on behalf of the party after the August 26 Special Electoral College in an attempt to bring all the 10 aspirants together, he did not portray any sign of resigning from the party, let alone going independent. The new patriotic party acknowledged this Mr. Kyerematen's contribution to our party's growth and development over the years. We respect his decision and extend our gratitude for the services rendered to the NPP and Mother Ghana.
Kweku, I'm curious, is it true that the NPP General Secretary actually found time to commend Alan Kyeremanten and asked other party loyalists to emulate him?
According to Justin Frimpong Kodia, Alan actually spoke about the achievements of the NPP government when he decided to resign and go for independence at the press conference yesterday. And so this is something all party members, including certain ministers, must do in publicizing the good works of the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration leading up to the 2024 election.
We use this opportunity to commend Mr. Kyerematen for admitting the good work the government has done under his then ministry, namely establishment of One District, One Factory initiative, the establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Area after with the headquarters of the Secretariat in Ghana, the development of new strategic anchor industries, including automobile assembly and component manufacturing, the establishment of business resource centers and technology solution centers all over the country, the establishment of the integrated customs service UNIPAS to enhance government revenue, the establishment of industrial parks, including the Greater Kumasi Industrial City and Special Economic Zone, the development of a national export strategy with a target of achieving export revenue of $25 billion by 2030, the introduction of business regulatory reforms and public-private dialogue mechanisms to facilitate government interaction with the private sector. Indeed, the NPP has done well. The party further urges all sector ministers and other government appointees to also start propagating the unprecedented achievement of the government in their respective sectors, just as Mr. Kyerematen has done.
We'll hear from the party pretty shortly. We'll also be hearing from now the chief spokesperson for Alan Kyeremanten, now that he decided to go independent and break away from the NPP. A key issue that also emerged today at this press conference was the party's clear strategy to target the rank and file of the party and rally them. Remember yesterday when they issued a statement, their approach was to call for calm. Well, today, the General Secretary had words for the rank and file of the party.
Since 1992, several party faithfuls have had the vision to lead the party and subsequently to lead the country. But sadly, as nature has its own course, only a few have had the opportunity to achieve that vision. Party faithfuls who never had to never resigned from the party, but continued to serve, some until they were called to eternity. And this reminds us of personalities such as Professor Dubois, Dr. Selby, Dr. Safodu, Dr. Addison, Mr. Kodua, Evans Mensah, and the rest. Just as many faithfuls who had no vision to lead the party, but served the party in various capacities and never tasted power, but died holding on to the banner of our great party. The NPP has always been a dynamic and resilient political party, and this moment serves as an opportunity for us to demonstrate our unity, fortitude, and unwavering commitment to the principles upon which our party was founded. As the party strives to win the 2024 general election and make a monumental record, we urge party faithfuls to reaffirm their dedication towards this common goal. Our party strength has always been derived from the unity and resilience of our members, and we call upon each and every one of you to rally together and uphold the principles that define us. Indeed, we are the NPP, and the elephant is our real symbol.
Well, joining me right now in the studio is Courage Nobi. He's the Acting Director of Communications for the Alan for President. Courage, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Evans.
Just before you join us, we've been hearing today from many of Alan's loyalists who supported him when he was still within the NPP and campaigning to lead the party in the Just Ended Superdelegates Congress. One of them is Abeno Sassari, has issued a statement today distancing himself from the decision that he's taking. We've heard from the former Mengsha North MP Collins Owusu Amankwa and Pariso MP Davis Opoku Ansa. We've also today at the party's press conference heard from Catherine Afeku, and others were also there, paraded in front of the cameras to show that you have been deserted. Alan Kyeremanten has been deserted. Now, Alan Kyeremanten clearly took this decision to resign without care for what it would mean for those who backed him quite closely and stood with him throughout the time that he was there. This was a selfish decision, was it not?
Thank you very much, Evans. Good evening to your listeners and everyone. I think that they, as individuals, everybody has the right to make a decision for himself. For us as young people, we appreciate the effort that the senior members of the Alan for President campaign put in at the time. We truly appreciate it. Under the circumstances, they have made a decision that they believe is best for them, and we do not fault any of them for the decisions that they have made. We respect their decision as individuals, and that is what it will remain. However, for many of us young people, for the thousands of us who still believe that the Honorable Alan Kyerematen has the character, the competence, the vision, and most importantly, the track record to lead this country through a transformational leadership agenda. We are still with him. We support him boldly, and that is what we continue to do with the movement for change.
In essence, Alan, in terms of the backbone he had when he was in the MPP, he's in effect standing alone here.
I think Honorable Alan Kyerematen's backbone has always been the grassroots, the teeming number of young people whose progress and success he has championed over the years through his industrialization drive and his fight for inclusiveness, for good quality leadership, a leadership that is honest, that is sincere, and a leadership that delivers.
When you say grassroots, are you talking about the MPP grassroots?
I think Alan on Kyerematen's appeal goes beyond even the NPP, and for me that is the strength that we have in the candidate that we are supporting. Honorable Alan Kyerematen appeals beyond the political demographics. He appeals very wide and far across the grassroots of this nation. The young people everywhere, both partisan and non-partisan, have extreme faith in him. That is what his confidence has always been about.
Let's talk about some of the specifics
Sure.
that Alan put out yesterday as a reason for his resignation. The party today took those on. Let's start with the accusation that the party had been hijacked by some faceless individuals. Who are these individuals?
I believe that the outturn or the outcome of these individuals we have all seen. The party that was set up in 1992 is no longer what we have today. And Honorable Alan Kyerematen has been very clear about it.
Yeah, and he blamed the individuals in the party for that.
Of course.
But hasn't he got the courage to name them?
I think he mentioned categories of people.
Yeah, but
and those categories of people
individuals
do exist.
But who are these? They don't have names?
Of course. We know who are those in charge of the party. We know those behind those in charge of the party. The referents know themselves, and I believe that in his very true judgment, he decided to leave it at the categories. I would want to respect that because he's a very decorous man. He's a man who has always exercised a lot of restraint in his judgment and in his character, and that is what we're seeing. And for me, that is
you make
strong.
the point that yesterday, and the party again addressed this today, that his supporters were intimidated, they were hounded, they hijacked. The party is very clear that there were serving cabinet ministers, individuals in the MPP who were actually ministers, either in cabinet or out of cabinet, and some of them members of parliament. They are still there. They are not complaining that they have been intimidated. In fact, today we've had many of them say they are happy with the NPP. So what's the basis of that suggestion that people were intimidated?
I think it is quite disingenuous for one to cite this and say that that is enough. Because at the end of the day, his supporters are not just the appointees. Like we've said here in the studio, he has a broad-based support. His supporters within the party have started various forms of intimidation. We also saw the pictures of our Northeast coordinator who nearly lost his eye. He's presently partially blind, and we are hoping that...
and he blames the party's hierarchy for that?
Absolutely. The party's hierarchy oversaw that election. The party's hierarchy were responsible for the conduct of that election in that election, particularly in the Northeast, where Alhaji Baumier's home region, where that dastardly act took place.
Yeah, I mean, but
the chairman of the party, the regional chairman of the party was there. All regional executives were present. Constituency chairmen were all present. These are the leaders of the party.
Yeah, but to say that because somebody was assaulted, however condemnable that is, you blame the party at the national level for it.
I believe.
Isn't that why you raised concerns? And the party said they were being addressed. The national chairman actually visited him in his house to try and get some resolution to these issues.
Evans, I am here in your studios. There's a management here. You yourself here as a host, you're in charge. If somebody walks into the studio to accost me, whilst all your producers and technical and everybody is there, and nobody lifts a finger, and I'm accosted, you are to blame for that. So when party regional executives, constituency chairmen have gathered for an election, these are the top echelons of the party, and said dastardly acts could be allowed to be perpetrated, and up to today, nobody has been arrested. Up to today.
But that's the job of the police.
Of course. But why has nobody been arrested? The regional minister was there.
Yeah, but the regional minister is not empowered.
He chairs the regional security committee.
But he still cannot make an arrest.
He does not make an arrest. But as the chairman, he should be interested in this matter. My point is that the evidence is overwhelming.
Okay, stay with me, please. I want to bring in Hackman Owusu-Agyemang. And Hackman Owusu-Agyemang is the chairperson of the party's Council of Elders. Ms. Owusu-Agyemang, thanks for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you very much, Evans. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm happy that you could join us. Is it fair to say your good friend Alan Kyeremanten? He's no longer with the MPP. What's your reaction to all this?
Well, I think that when you have an aggregation of personalities in a party such as ours, once in a while you get a little bit of a movement which is not the best of movements. I mean, that the party is strong, the party is committed, the party is dedicated, and the party is going forward with its own agenda. I believe that no single person should think he's bigger than the party, quote and unquote. We've had this thing through all over again. It happened some years ago. He left and then he came back, and we are all going together. I believe that when there have been difficulties in the party, maybe he should have had his patience and reported this to the authorities of the party, and then it would have been taken care of.
I mean, he says that he reported and nothing was done about it, and he listed a host of grievances that the party have left to fester without dealing with, and that's why he's taking the decision.
Even as far as I know, when you report issues like this, it goes to the national officer, then to the national disciplinary committee, and as far as I know, they have been meeting, and some of these items are on the agenda. They have happened. What we have to do is to see how we can solve it. But to decide to leave the party and in so going, pull people along with you and use phraseologies and sentences which are not which are not good, at the end of the day, it's not the best of ways to do it. To tell that what the National Council decided was unmeritorious and what the rest, and you went on and on and on. I don't think that's what it is. If one were to take Alan on, and it's my younger brother, all of them, from where I sit, but when somebody does something wrong, you should tell that person that he's done something wrong. For example, he starts also by saying that the national, our first national headquarters was sort of the seed money was paid by the Young Executive Woman. That is a palpable lie. The national headquarters was bought by myself, and then Kyerematen, when he came out of prison, supported it with about 6 million, and that's how we got it. That you know even how much the place cost, and what they did was to buy furniture from Ashanti Furniture, 7 million, and they put it in the conference room.
And what you're referring to?
Go through this, we would try and even one by one say that these things that you have done is not correct.
Yeah, I mean, but Mr. Osman, just for context,
now that you've asked me, I believe even that he should not have taken that course. We're all available. He never consulted any of us, and we have, in the past, in the background, we have been putting things together and sometimes resolving issues within the party. And the way to go is not the way to go. And that is why most of the people who are with him are now beginning to declare openly that they are, because our constitution is absolutely clear. Article 3, I think 9, says something like, if you should do that, you automatically forfeit your membership of the party. And this is where he has dragging more people into this thing, and it's not helpful at all. For us, you ask me, what is it? It shouldn't have happened. It has happened. We're more than strong enough to overcome this little difficulty. And when you have a group of this nature, from time to time, you have some issue that you don't want to sort of handle. So I'm really sorry that he is gone. But to say also, for example, that innovations and what have you are not by individuals and not by parties, I cannot accept that. The party has a manifesto and what everybody must do. And so when you play your part to it, it doesn't mean that you have not a member of government, but I tell you, I went to 4 countries for the African Free Trade Thing, and I sort of campaigning for Ghana. 4 countries in Southern Africa. I know. So he cannot claim that is his initiative. It is the initiative of the party, and he was the lead person doing it. I think we must get all these things clear in the architecture of political movements in this country, and not people don't begin to allocate to themselves everything that is good and what about things that is bad in the ministry, in the trade and industry. Is he going to take responsibility for those? No. You are a member of the team that is playing, led by the president, and you have to respect that. That was your role, and that doesn't necessarily give to you the initiative that you think you have put there.
Yeah,
what about the cabinet? What about our manifesto?
Yeah, Mr. Hagman Osuajiman, there is something you mentioned that I wanted to get further clarity on. You mentioned the Young Executive Forum. Mr. Kyerematen had yesterday stated, quote, "The Young Executive Forum since 1992 became the financial backbone of the party and provided significant financial resources to support the party in all its endeavors, including the seed fund for the purchase of the party's first national headquarters building." You say that is not true?
That is not true. I was the first national treasurer for the party, so I know each and every contribution that was made by the party. Me personally, I'm not boasting. I just friend of Sandy Borders paid more than the national, the young executive. When I came from the United Nations, with all the money that I earned from my pension, I put it in the party. Have I made any noise about it? And whatever it's what they did was their contribution was given to Dr. Safwa to pay for his money that we're asking of all the aspirants at that time, and that's what it was. So if you give your support one country, it doesn't mean that you come out to the world and tell the whole world that you did it. I was national treasurer, first national, for 10 years, and I can assure you that there were a lot of other people who contributed to it. The young executive played their part. Yes, I was the one who advocated for them also to come to the national executive. Those of them who are there can still tell you, but that doesn't mean that they should claim that they were the one who funded the party. No.
In your capacity as the chairperson of the party's Council of Elders, in your capacity as the chairperson of the Council of Elders,
yes,
will you make any attempt to try and bring him back into the fold, or it's too late now?
I think it's too late. Whatever damage he intended to cause, he has already caused.
What damage is
that? We will live with it and we will overcome it. It's not a difficulty at all. If he wants to come, the rules are very clear. He has said openly that he has resigned. If he wants to come back, he has to reapply. The rules are there in Article 3. So he would have to do that and also the various other articles. So if he wants to come, he's welcome to come. We need the numbers. A party is made up of numbers. So we are not pushing anybody away.
What?
All of them are coming over. There's something, I'm not a priest, but there's something called the prodigal son. If you go out and you want to come, you are welcome. He is welcome to come back.
You talk about damages.
And I don't think he's going to, with his butterfly, he's the one who is going to, quote and unquote, revolutionize political thinking and political activity in this country. He must come back. If he has erred, we would look at it, consider it, and bring him back. Those who have, in the past, we suspended some people. We have gotten some of them back. So we can always ask him to come back. And I don't think he should.
You talk about damages. What's your assessment of the damage this will cause to the party?
Sorry?
You talked about damages. What's your assessment of the damage this will cause to the party?
Well, for me, personally, and this is my personal, not much damage, but to stand in front of the whole world and begin to talk about issues that things have not been done pretty well, of systems that were an integral part of, that were one of the senior ministers within the party, either of the committee that handles the economy or that. It's quite unfortunate. But whatever it is. So initially, quite obviously, there are people following. Everybody in the party has his own following. So we would rather keep them rather than let them go. So when I say that the damage is caused, it means taking some people away. They'll go, maybe they'll come back, and we'll accept them and tell them you don't do it again. And that if he himself comes, we'll be willing to take him back. But I think I was a bit upset because all of us are there. We've been talking to Alan in private and whatever, and it isn't things that he should come to us because we have not obliged or something. We have not said anything. The fact that we have not come officially to say ABC does not mean that we were not working. And the fact that the National Council or the National Executive, for that matter, did not accept the conditions of a single location voting and whatever should not be the reason why somebody should resign. And this unfortunate incident of somebody being hit in the eye should not happen. But you know, and I know, Evans, that in politics and in all some of these human endeavors, sometimes on the spur of the moment, somebody hits somebody, and we sort of put it together again and come over. So it's unfortunate, but to use that as a way for going out, and as you go out, claim lay ownership to all the initiatives that this government or this cabinet has put together or the party has put together, and at the same time tell us that we have been derelict of our responsibilities as either leaders or senior people in the party. I don't think it's fair.
Yeah, I mean, how would you characterize your final verdict on him? Good riddance?
How would I do what?
How would you characterize your final verdict on Alan Kyeremanten? Good riddance?
You know, I thought at that time, I think we were very young, but Darocha was our first, DJ Darocha, who was our first chairman. When Alan resigned at that time, said something, and that's what we will quote to him at the appropriate time. We'll leave it for now.
I would love to hear it, since you say I wasn't old enough to remember. The young ones like to remember.
There are certain things that sometimes you keep within the family. But he said it publicly.
Yeah,
remind us. But let us stay there. If he wants to come, we will take him back. But I honestly a bit upset about the scenario that was played out yesterday and what was said or was not said but implied. It's not good. It's not good. That's not the way to go. We are determined to win. See, you don't form a political party for the sake of political party. You form a political party to win power so that if you have any ideas and programs, you would execute it. In this process, there may be difficulties, but not a member of the team come and he says that I was the only saint among them and I did all these things and the rest did nothing.
Hackman Owusu-Agyeman, thank you very much. And he is the chairperson of the MPP Council of Elders. Courage, you heard the man himself.
I did, Evans. I think everybody listening to the chairman of the Council of Elders will not be surprised as to the state of affairs that we find ourselves in. And for me, that will be my commentary on it. It is obvious that the leadership, the outturn or the outcome of the leadership that the party is enjoying is what we are witnessing today. And for me as a young person, I am bold and excited about the fact that, like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah did, and boldly took a new direction when he realized that the object for which the UGCC existed no longer served it. I'm glad that today, Honorable Alan Kyeremanten has realized that from 1992, what the party was set out to achieve, it's not such brutalities as we are witnessing, such disgraceful brutalities that is being tolerated by some of the people.
But he made a very fundamental point. Why is Alan arrogating to himself achievements that he was not part of necessarily? For example, this YEF initiative of he claiming that they provide a seed fund for the purchase of the party's first national headquarters. We've just heard the chairperson of the Council of Elders say that simply is not true.
I think he did say that if Honorable Alan Kyeremanten wants to come back to the party, he should reapply. It means that if you resign from the party, you reapply before you become a member, according to himself. And he did state also that in 2008, Honorable Alan Kyeremanten resigned. But Honorable Alan Kyeremanten contested 2010
but you're
and
not answering the
2014.
question I just asked.
My question is, if he can admit that Honorable Alan Kyeremanten resigned, never reapplied, but he's still been in the party, contested elections up to today, and in one breath, he's saying some of these things, I believe the verdict is for your listeners to pass.
Corey, thank you very much. And
thank you very much.
And very briefly, we've just been joined by the national organizer of the party as well, Nana Boakye, who was at the press conference today. Henry Nana Boakye, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Evans, thank you very much.
Do I take it then from what I heard today at the press conference that the party has already moved on?
Oh yes, Evans, we have to move on. We have a battle ahead of us. We are in the process of electing our flag bearer. Then we would have completed the entire preparatory stages to move into next year's elections. So I'm not sure that as a party we would want to spend much time on some of these things that will rather be destructive rather than fruitful to the party. Today's press statement, yes, we mentioned that Honorable Alan Kyeremanten is a huge personality. We respect him. He served very well. We are not in agreement with some of the things that he said that form the basis of his resignation and subsequent declaring his intention to contest as an independent presidential candidate. I think that some of the reasons he mentioned, first of all, Evans, when he says that he concluded that the decision for National Council to hold the Special Delegates Conference in a decentralized venue meant that National Council's decision is unmeritorious and unconstitutional. I find that very weird. Evans, it is quite clear, Article 13 speaks of the election of presidential candidate. And it is clear in Article 13 that the body mandated to determine the venue for the conduct of the presidential elections is the National Council. In this case, you presented a petition to National Council where you were seeking to say that the conduct of the Special Delegates Conference should be centralized. Yes, National Council called you, they listened to you, and at the end of the day, it was put to vote. Evans, 74 eminent persons overwhelmingly voted against that idea. In fact, there was even a second proposal in the petition, which says that one person should vote 5 times. And then we also found that as unconstitutional because it's also quite clear in Article 13 that each delegate, each vote.
Yeah, I mean, and we had your reasoning today, and very finally today we've seen also the press conference. You deliberately put before the cameras some party stalwarts, some of them even ministers who used to support Alan Kyeremanten when he was in the MPP. What was the reason for that?
No, what we are trying, because we are serving the party. We are in a party, and no one personality is bigger than the party. So, for instance, if you have such important personalities handling your campaign, you played the tape of Collins Mankwa, who was the campaign coordinator in Ashanti region for Honorable Alan Kyeremanten. Today was even at the press conference. Honorable MP for Botiano English, Amanfrom, he was also coordinating the campaign for him in Greater Accra. My big sister, Honorable Catherine Abelima Afeku, today also said that no, they are with the party. They are not serving individuals, they are serving the party. And they had interest in you to become presidential candidate because you are an MPP member. But then the moment you move away from the MPP flag, they cannot be part of it. Honorable Abna Oseasare also issued a statement yesterday.
Yeah. And so the message you wanted to send across was what when you put
them
up?
The message is that the party is united. The party is formidable. And the energies displayed right from yesterday up to today, I'm so happy. And don't forget that we've gone through some of these internal challenges before. In 2015, you remember Chairman, General Secretary, National First Vice, we had issues with them, and then they had to be suspended, and we had an important elections there. Following year, we went into it very resolved, very united, hard-working, and then we won the elections.
Well, Nana B, thank you very much. He is the national organizer of the MPP. He is going to be my guest tonight on PM Express because we are going to be analyzing this a bit more. So join us on the analysis show on PM Express later tonight. We'll also be joined by Kojo Pieni. You know him. He's a former chief of staff under the former President John Agyekum Kufuor's tenure, one of the most popular chief of staffs we've had in this country. He will also be my guest. And so you want to join us for that, some in-depth analysis of what has happened, implications for Alan himself and for the NPP. Still ahead here on Newsnight. Patients with kidney disease speak out against decision by Ghana's premier teaching hospital, Korle Bu, to increase cost of dialysis by more than 100%.
The dialysis machine in Korle Bu got fault. Do you know the number of people who died? A 24-year-old boy died this morning. His father is a teacher. His father is a teacher.
We tell you how some of them were already choking under the almost 400 CD cost, which has now been increased to 765. Also tonight, National Security Minister seeks 10 million CD damages against Fix the Country convener Oliver Barker-Vormawor as he drags him before the court for defamation.
That meeting I am talking about happened exclusively between myself and the Minister for National Security. That the offer was made to me. I will release an audio into the public domain.
We have details for you. Plus, Savannah Regional Security Council opens probe into circumstances leading to devastating floods that displaced thousands of persons in the central Gonja district.
Whether the construction of the pre-dam that is causing it or whatever the situation is, we'll have to make sure that we unravel this perennial flooding.
Details after this.
Ever visited a shop, picked a whole basket of provisions, toiletries, and very essential things you need, battled a long queue to finally pay, only to be told you can't pay to a merchant number? The way that thing they pay, but with Vodafone Cash, there is no problem. Now on Vodafone Cash, you can pay all merchants on all networks. Easy peasy. Aye straight. Aye direct. Aye sharp. From your Vodafone Cash wallet to any merchant number on other networks. So whether you are buying provisions or fuel, medication or food, whatever the service or need, just pay conveniently from Vodafone Cash to any merchant number. Simply dial *110# to make payment to merchants on other networks today.
Vodafone. Come with me. Bask in freedom. There are no deadlines here. Hurry so you can take your time. The sunset from above. A visual buffet. Pictures capture moment. 100 conversations don't exhaust the tale of your new favorite filter. The salt of the sea warm on your dark skin.
I'd love to come back here. A truly immersive experience is our reality. South Africa invites you to summer with us. Create your own story with customizable experiences now. Visit southafrica.net. It's never too late to summer in SA.
You are still live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. And I will want to hear from you. Also, send me a WhatsApp 055-111-11997. Now, death sentence. The verdict on the streets today after the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital increased the cost of dialysis for persons with kidney conditions by over 100%. Some of them were already choking under the 380 CD cost, which has been increased to 765. Well, in a video that has now gone viral, one of the protesters who spoke to Maxwell Wagba at the Occupy Julobi House protests at the weekend said she was protesting for a better health care system that she said for many has failed them. She said a 24-year-old man had died that morning because his father was a teacher for 30 years and could not afford the cost of dialysis. Maxwell has more in this report.
It is afternoon. Thousands of young Ghanaians have partially shut down the capital after blocking the main road with their protest. They, among others, demanded an end to corruption, unemployment, and mismanagement of the economy. The sun has now disappeared from the sky. As it starts to get dark, the crowd becomes agitated, demanding the removal of barricades so they can demonstrate in front of the Jubilee House.
And he died. He died.
One of the protesters, Nasiba, is charging at the policeman here. Her reason, a 24-year-old man died the morning before the protest. His father, who worked as a teacher for 30 years, could not afford the cost of dialysis for him.
And he died. He died. 24-year-old. He died. Not because of sickness. The country failed them. You, I swear, God will judge you. What you did on Thursday. God.
My lady, calm down. Wait, calm down. What's your name?
Nasiba.
You're very angry.
I'm very angry.
What's your story?
I am very angry. I'm more angrier this morning. People are dying each day. The dialysis machine in Kolebu got spoiled. Do you know the number of people who died? A 24-year-old boy died this morning. His father is a teacher. Gave over 30 years of his life to the service. Could not afford transplants. Could not afford dialysis. 400 cedis a week. What do you mean? Do you know how much taxes they check out every day? The cost of living. But you bring in flowers for your daughter's birthday. You bring a cake to celebrate 11. God will judge the government.
Well, chronic kidney patient Deborah Norte is among many patients losing sleep tonight over the cost of treatment. She had difficulties paying the 380 CD cost. She fears the increase will exacerbate her situation. Mami Sinyamicha Thompson has more in this report.
It's Deborah's first visit to the Kolebu Dialysis Center this week. She looks frail, tired, and out of breath. She hides her swollen feet in socks and covers her body with a long-sleeved blouse and skirt. She manages to feed on some pasta and stew to give her some energy for her 4-hour dialysis session. Deborah is at the end stage of chronic kidney disease. This means her kidneys have lost their function, making the removal of waste and extra water from her blood difficult. The dialysis machine now serves as her kidneys. To manage her condition and preserve her life longer, she's now restricted in the quantity of food and liquid she takes. According to her, the process is not only draining, but can be painful as well.
So whatever fluid we take throughout the days, it stays in our body till we come on the machine and the machine draws it out. So sometimes our muscles react to it. It gives us some spasms and cramps, which are very, very extremely painful. It's like your tissues are tearing apart.
Over 5 years ago, Deborah developed eclampsia, a complicated condition developed during her pregnancy, characterized by high blood pressure. Protein also started seeping into her urine, signaling kidney damage. Deborah has since been on dialysis.
Personally, I have witnessed or seen as a particular man is late now. He did it for 15 years. That's the longest I've heard. Some get it less. Some even within 1 year of the condition, they are already gone. Some 2 years. So it depends on, I think, as and when God gives the grace.
She eventually lost a job and source of income because she couldn't work effectively. She has also lost her marriage and has very little support. Almost every week, she scrounges at least 800 cedis for her treatment.
A session like I'm doing today is 380 cedis, and that's the cheapest you can get. Kolebu is the cheapest so far. In case there are issues and we have to visit the private sector, we can pay as high as 550 for one session. And you need this at least 2 or 3 times in a week. so that piles up. And aside even the dialysis cost, we have our injections that we take to boost up our blood. Extremely expensive, 200 cedis.
But the cost is becoming difficult to bear. The benevolence of friends and family is waning. I find out from the principal nursing officer, Loretta, what the process of removing toxins from Deborah's blood entails.
There's the fistula. It's an artery and a vein which is joined together to form a huge vessel. So that one is also done surgically. That one is also another different cost. Yes. So before you can start, you have to go through all this process. You have to get the access, which takes about 2 to 3 months to mature before you can use it. Yes. So once you get the access, we have what we call the fistula needles. You have to do what we call cannulation.
You want to find the full report on our many social media pages there. But this increase at the country's premier teaching hospital, Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, is getting many of you talking. Marcelo Agba is joining me right now. There have been reactions to this, strong ones.
Exactly, Evan. So we have this one from Kwabnaidu. He says, just so you know, Korle Bu dialysis is almost always full. So if you have chronic kidney diseases, you may have to seek dialysis at private hospitals. And he mentions one of them. He says, one of my brothers says it's only $120 United States dollars per session. So in a week, you pay a small fee of $360 for 3 sessions. Very cheap and affordable. So you can continue misbehaving with your kidneys. Quite sarcastic comments there. This one here from Alfred Ugbami. He says, about 48 hours ago, Nasiba, a young lady at the Occupy Jolobi House demo, furiously complained of the 400 Ghana cedis per session cost of dialysis at Korle Bu Teaching Hospital following the death of a friend. Apparently, the cost just went up from 380 cedis to 765 Ghana cedis. Pray you don't suffer kidney challenges in these difficult times.
We'll get some clarity very shortly. We're talking to the PR of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospitals, confirmed that this increase indeed has happened. Do we know why yet?
He has not stated the reason they've increased the cost and what is accounting for this latest increase. In fact, when we spoke to him, he confirmed that indeed that is the case. He agreed to speak to us. We're still trying to connect to him.
We'll get that for you and understand why this has gone up. For many of you who use that service, one of them is Thomas Khan. He lives with a kidney condition. Joins us right now. Hello, Thomas. Thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Hi, good evening, Evans.
Great to have you. And is Korle Bu your center?
Well, I do mine at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital.
Okay, and how much is that there?
I think I heard the person talking, saying that Korle Bu is the cheapest, but that is not entirely true. At the moment, Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, comparatively, charging the least. Here we pay 350 per session. But Evans, to tell you the truth, the 350 is a big headache for most of us. Virtually, I would say everybody who goes there for service, and for the several months that increment came, patients here have been battling to pay that amount, and we've always been appealing to authorities to do something about it, but they tell us there is little they can do because of the circumstances surrounding everything, because they tell us everything about the dialysis, the services that they provide, everything is imported, and everything that is imported is taxed. So they give us all those reasons for that kind of increment or that kind of hike in prices.
And understand that you've been doing this for what, 10 years?
Yes, Evans, I've been doing this for a little over 10 years.
Tell me, so you hear the increase at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital to over 700 cedis, and what's your reaction to it for those who have no option than to use the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital? In fact,
when I heard it, in fact, this morning I went for dialysis. And that was the main thing that almost every patient who was there was talking about. We here in Cape Coast, we were even complaining about the 350. And so when we had the 760, we were like, what? What is this? In this current economic hardship, and it has to go to that high. In fact, Evans, we don't know what to do. In fact, I just don't know what to say, because Evans, to tell you the truth, just the 350, a lot of patients that I used to see at the dialysis, we are not seeing them again, because a lot of them have passed because they couldn't afford. And there are some who are at home and not coming for their sessions because they can't even afford just 100 cedi or 200 cedi, even for a week. Even to tell you the truth, this is a difficult moment for those of us living with terminal diseases. In fact, a very difficult one. Very difficult one.
And I can imagine that. Thank you very much, Thomas Khan, for that. Thankfully, we can speak to the Public Relations Officer at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, Mustafa Salifu. Mr. Salifu, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good evening to your listeners.
So, why the increase?
Yeah, the increase is to meet the running cost of the facility.
And what goes into determining that?
Yeah, there are a number of several items that go into determining the price of it. You have what they call the kit. The kit alone is it costs about 34 euros. You know, these are items that are imported into the country for the use of these patients. There are other components that are added to this. You know, there's a medication that we use that is called heparin. That alone also costs about a vial costs more than 100 Ghana cedis. And then you talk about the glass, you talk about the bicarbonate, you talk about the infusions, the oxygen, water, electricity, glass, gauze, and so on and so forth. So really, if we do the real analysis of the cost, you get to about 850 cedis. But because of certain considerations, that is why we are proposing this 765.42 at the moment.
And that is still more than 100% increase. I mean, certainly from 380 to 765, many look at that and say it is simply extortionate.
Yes. Previously, it was down because some of the variables were actually being taken care of by the state. But now we have had to pay for everything ourselves, and all those things are factored into it. Now, we used to clear these items. We used to get tax exemptions when we are clearing these items. But now you have to pay for the import duty and other taxes that are related to it. So, if we still want to run as we used to do previously, it means, I tell you, my brother, in the next couple of weeks or several days down the line, we'll have to shut down the unit.
In other words, if you do not increase the cost of dialysis, you'll be left with no choice than to shut the dialysis unit down entirely.
That is the hard reality that we have to face.
And you say it's primarily because, one, the cover you get from the government is no longer there. You're now having to do full cost recovery. The tax exemptions have also been removed.
Yes, tax exemption is no longer there. The cost that we get, these are imported from Europe. The cost of the kit has gone up, and then the cost of virtually all the inputs that we use to do this to provide these services have gone up.
I'm curious, when the government...
we are not doing this to actually make profit. We want to provide a service to patients. So what we have done, as I mentioned, when we did a real assessment of the cost, taking all the inputs that we need to buy, we need to procure to provide the service, it comes to about 850 Ghana cedis. But we need to cushion the patients a bit. That's why when we did analysis, we realized that if we leave it at the 765.42, that is something we can manage. to keep the service going.
I mean, considering that lives depend on this, I'm just curious. When did government remove the exemptions?
In fact, we this came to our realization from I think from last year that we realized that we are no longer entitled to that service, that exemption, and we have to mobilize money to clear all of these items.
Has government told you why this policy was implemented?
We have actually not received. We realize that there are changes in the exemption regime, and then we are part of those who now have to mobilize resources to pay for whatever items that we are coming to receive. I think the only exemption we still get are those who are coming to donate. They also have to go through a certain process to get exemption for the donated items.
I take it then that the increase, you can't do anything about it? Or you, Kolibo, in the wake of the concerns expressed, is considering reducing the cost from 765 to something else a bit affordable?
We wish we could maintain the price at the 380 but that's the reality that is confronting us as a hospital now.
So you can't do anything about it?
If we want to review this one downwards, then it means we have to we all have to face the repercussions of that. Either you keep the service going, or we'll run it after some time, and if we are not able to mobilize resources to buy the consumables, that then means that we have to suspend the service until such a time that if we are able to mobilize resources or we can cost recover, then we resume providing the service to our patients.
Thank you very much, Mustafa Salifu.
You are welcome.
Mustafa Salifu speaks for the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. I want to hear from you, 055-1111-997. And as you heard in that report that was brought to you by Mark Solabagba, this is an issue that was a strong feature in a list of reasons that the protesters last week gave for going onto the streets and demanding accountability from government. And talking about that today, we're hearing from the National Security Minister. And referring to the protest last week, the Minister, Albert Kandapa, has filed a defamation suit against the convener of the Fix the Country movement, and they were behind this Democracy Hub protest that you saw over a 3-day period. Oliver Vomawo, my colleague with the Legal Affairs Desk, joins us in the studio with more on this. Kojo Nyako, thanks for joining us. Why is the National Security Minister taking this suit in court against Oliver Vomawo?
So, Evans, the National Security Minister is seeking 5 reliefs. The first one, a declaration that the words uttered by the defendant, that is Oliver, are defamatory to the plaintiff, that is the National Security Minister, and they repeat the supposed defamation by Oliver. The second one is a recovery of a sum of 10 million Ghana cedis in damages. The third one is an apology for and retraction of the words complained of. The fourth one is perpetual injunction restraining the defendant from repeating similar or other defamatory words against the plaintiff. And the last one is other costs. But in the suit, the minister says, per the words spoken by the defendant, it means that the minister is corrupt. That is the first one. That he undertakes criminal acts of offering bribes and threats. And the third one is abuses his office. And so that is why the minister has gone to court.
800 million cedis in damages.
10 million Ghana cedis.
10 million Ghana cedis in damages is what he's asking for.
Yes.
Well, on News File on Saturday, Oliver Bakavoma was on the show and was very strong that he was going to release a recording, an audio recording of this particular meeting.
Putting out the statement in much clearer detail. Now, I want to be clear. At no point have I said that I have a video of the interaction between myself and the Minister for National Security.
Sorry, you said a recording.
A
recording.
Yes. The Minister of National Security has issued a statement claiming that I was met with other Face the Country conveners and other stakeholders. I want to put it on record that the meeting I am talking about happened exclusively between myself and the Minister for National Security. That the offer was made to me. I will release an audio into the public domain, which would confirm that the minister invited me to a secret safe house location, that we should have an individual meeting between him and myself, at which meeting he made that offer to myself. No other Face the Country convener was involved in. Another secret meeting was held with myself and 2 lawyers representing Face the Country, including the Minister of Finance, which was held. We have a recording of the entirety of that meeting as well. But what I'm saying, and want to be clear on, that a secret meeting was held between myself and the Minister for National Security at a safe house, and that he did request that I meet him, and I have a recording to confirm this. Stop the activism. This was before, and I want to be clear, this was before even the very first Face the Country demonstration, not for Occupy Julobi House. I think there's a bit of confusion in the public as well. That in the very beginning, the National Security Minister, had told me personally that they were worried about terrorism, and they are worried that my activism would mobilize young people.
So, Kojo, he promised to release a secret recording into the public. This was on Saturday. Has he done so?
There is no such release. In fact, on his Facebook page, he issued a statement, and the statement reads, "I have resolved upon the advice of lawyers to file a formal criminal complaint against the Minister for National Security. This will be made to the Special Prosecutor in connection with the corruption advances against me."
Okay, thank you very much, Kojo Nyako. So live on News 9 is on Joy 99.7 FM. George Yafe is here with business. Hello, George.
Hi, Evans.
And you saw the tax question there that came up when we were talking about the dialysis. Yes.
It's interesting, and sometimes even the argument for some of these businesses, they'll say that yes, still we are going to apply the tax and later come back and seek for a refund. But again, it's interesting about how this is impacting on the lives of people. We are collecting taxes for development and the people. If we collect these taxes and the people are no longer there to pay these taxes, I mean, there has to be some social and mercy attached to some of these things.
What do you have in the headlines, George?
Well, Evans, coming up, oil prices could hit $150 a barrel by end of year, according to global banking giant JP Morgan. And government secures almost 4 billion Ghana cedis worth of bonds after they reopened the domestic debt exchange program, bringing total participation to almost 90%. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntax Tanks, and Pepsodent Charcoal and Herbal.
It's the best season of the year, just in some points. Momo Pay or you say Momo app. Send with ease and win big. You be merchant or you be Momo user. Momo season Abanti, send DBVR. Send DBVR. Momo season Abanti, send DBVR.
From now till the end of September, earn points when you download the Momo app and make Momo Pay transactions to a merchant via either the QR code or merchant ID and stand the chance of winning 1,000 Ghana cedis weekly and other amazing prizes. Our merchants are not left out. Receive payment and win. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes to be won. So download the Momo app, transact with Momo Pay and get rewarded this Momo season. TNCs apply.
MTN. Hooray! The Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited's Back to School promotion is here with us once again. From the 4th of September to the 31st of October 2023, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is giving a generous 10% to 15% discount on all school items like textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books, and so much more across all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, Winneba, and Cape Coast. Parents, teachers, and students, please hurry while stock lasts. For more information, call us on 0302 764 101 or 0302 764 209 or email info@kingdomgh.com. You can also visit our website www.kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability are both assured. Terms and conditions apply.
No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank
And now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex Tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex Tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project or demand, choose Syntex Tank. Syntex Tank, stress-free. Syntex Tank, reliable. Syntex Tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough.
Ghana, are you ready? Mark your calendar as the Makers House Chapel International presents the Experience Conference 2023. From the 1st to the 8th of October, it's the gathering of the spiritual luminaries of the land. Get ready to experience Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, Reverend Dr. Mensah Otabil, Archbishop Charles Ajinasari, Reverend Dr. Ampia Kofi, Reverend Dr. Steve Mensah, Reverend Dr. Ebenezer Markwe, Bishop Frank Ofosu Apia, and your host, Dr. Michael Bwedi Nyamiche. Come and experience Jesus, the miracle worker. Venue is the Destiny Arena of the Makers House Chapel International, Atomic, adjacent School of Nuclear and Allied Sciences. Time is 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. on weekdays, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday, and 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Sundays. It's going to be a life-changing encounter. The Experience Conference 2023. I can't wait.
I'm afraid. Yeah. Media sambisanda mo. Eti emrati no. Mumu hoi pane tumi fi na mo bodom pe mo mana yakono. Eye kwabna. No mumu honsu ne tumi just mali me ma yeni nyina de. Eye kojo. Yampa. Enu kro. Kobre tumi wi na bodom pe mo sense o yisu president eba. Ayede yan ban ne do braye. Bu si echi na mo ho ban na sem mana hoode ne. Sa. Ani na kudwonsu yisu president chako. Na eno ne de e ma wo se wo ye kregen fita. Na watimi asiri be Mamma feel you. Hey, Kojo, sir. Yeah. Pepsodent Heba and a Pepsodent Charcoal. I've had you're gonna natural.
FDIJ Jadion Katuyatu.
Come with me. Bask in freedom. There are no deadlines here. Hurry so you can take your time. The sunset from above. A visual buffet. Pictures capture moments. 100 conversations don't exhaust the tale of your new favorite filter. The salt of the sea warm on your dark skin.
I'd love to come back here. A truly immersive experience is our reality. South Africa invites you to summer with us. Create your own story with customizable experiences now. Visit southafrica.net. It's never too late to summer in SA.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, crude oil prices could hit $150 a barrel by the end of this year. Now, that's the projection coming from global financial giant JP Morgan. But should we be worried about this development and how that could impact on prices at the pumps? There is more in this report.
Oil prices have hit record levels over the past 3 weeks on the international market. The challenge has been attributed to global supply cuts by some of the major oil-producing countries. This has fueled the spike in crude oil prices on the international market. The product was this morning selling at $92 a barrel. But following the decision by Russia to further cut crude oil exports, this has led to JP Morgan warning that oil prices could hit the $150 a barrel before the end of this year. But should we be worried about this development here in Ghana? Well, the answer could be yes. The recent hikes that we have witnessed at the local pumps can be exclusively linked to developments on the world market and not the cedi depreciation, which has been the story in the past. But if these happenings are anything to go by, then we can say that we should brace ourselves for more increases in the prices of petroleum products at the pumps. Some analysts have projected that it could hit 15 Ghana cedis a litre by the end of this year.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, government has been able to secure about 4 billion Ghana cedis worth of bonds after it reopened the domestic debt exchange program. The exercise was to offer investors that failed to participate in the offer after it closed in February this year. Finance Ministry statement today disclosed that settlement for these bonds will be done on the 29th of September 2023. Sources say that 4 billion Ghana cedis represents or puts the number of participation in the offer at almost 90%. Inflation rate numbers, economic data, growth outlook, these are some of the other areas that will come up during the discussion with the IMF when it comes to the program review. The IMF mission and the first program is currently ongoing, which began on Monday, and will be heavy on the quantitative and qualitative measures under the program. Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison has been given more details on these engagements and how that will pan out over the next 1 week.
This is the opening meeting with the IMF. And we have to convince them that from the indicators that we are seeing, we think that the 1.5% projection is too low. And then maybe provide the evidence that we provided you and discussed last week. The Ghana Statistical Service forecasts, our own real composite index of economic activity, some of the, very fine details that we have seen, which makes us think that we will do better than the 1.5% that the fund is projecting. But at the end of the mission, we would sort of have to reach an agreement on what the common view is regarding the growth out. And I believe the same discussion will go on regarding inflation. There will be technical sessions between the IMF team and the Bank of Ghana team on the inflation forecast, the underlying models, and what the models are showing. And then hopefully by the end of the mission, we'll have a consensus view of where all of this would be by the end of the year.
And that is the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. Let's still stay on this fund program because finance lecturer Professor Lord Mensah wants government to use the expected inflows from this IMF program if Ghana passes the first review to reduce its interest on the table rates.
Once we get this support from IMF, World Bank coming in, government should be able to give the signal on the market that I don't need short-term funds again. As a result of that, the banks will have alternative to lend to, individuals. So if government is not borrowing from the short-term market, they will be getting inflows from external sources and all. The banks will start lending to individuals. So from where I sit, they should use these funds, right, in a way to spread up, demanding short-term funds from the market.
And that is financial economist Professor Lord Mensah, not finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. Dr. Benjamin Amoah has maintained that there could be an element of double counting when it comes to the mobile money numbers for this year. Latest data from the Bank of Ghana showed that value of transactions reached 1.1 trillion Ghana cedis ending August this year. Now, this has raised concerns about how the calculation was done. Dr. Amoah says an audit would not be out of place.
That is very possible. That is very possible because there are a lot of transactions that will be going through the entire mobile money architecture. But I believe strongly that the implementers of these particular payments and those who are observing the architecture for e-levy have a fair idea of what transactions are e-levy exempt and what transactions must suffer e-levy. Now, if you are having issues about double counting, as you have indicated, then it calls for auditing the entire e-levy architecture.
And Dr. Benjamin Amoah is a finance lecturer. Let's turn attention to the stock market. And if you were a shareholder of Fan Milk, today you lost 2 pesos and is now worth 3 Ghana cedi, 3 pesos. EcoBank also gained about 12 pesos to close at 4 Ghana cedis, 10 pesos. And that's all for business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, George. And right after sports, the wheelchair didn't stop her from pursuing a life of helping others. In today's edition of Stories of Hope, we'll tell you the inspirational story of Lily. But first, Ms. Bao is here with the latest from the world of sports.
Yes, Evans, just some update from the camp of the Black Queens, and they have advanced to the next round of the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. after displaying a dominant performance with a resounding 5-0 win over Rwanda in the second leg of that tournament qualifiers. Now, midfielder Alice Kusi did steal the show with a remarkable hat-trick, while Evelyn Badu and Stella Yamisha also found the back of the net to complete the 5-0 thrashing of Rwanda. Now, guess what? Across both legs, they made it 12-0 over Rwanda in that women's AFCON qualifiers there. Now, the Black Queens will look to facing Namibia in November in the next round of the qualifiers for that tournament. And victory over Namibia across both legs will see the Black Queens return to the Women's African Cup of Nations, which they missed out in the last edition to Nigeria. That's it for sports events.
And thank you very much, Bao, there. So listening to News 90 on Joy 99.7 FM. A few of your messages on our WhatsApp console now. Sami says the explanations by the PR of Kolebu Teaching Hospital is not tenable. This is a complete humane decision as far as the healthcare delivery is concerned. Edinam Kofi says, Evans, kindly find out from the health minister why the tax exemption was removed. This is a serious issue, please. Senna says this MPP government knows that the hardship is going high in the country, so they must allow the Fix the Country group to demonstrate. And the final one says, I think rabble rousers like Oliver Baka must not be taken serious. That's Baba Chairman in Tamale. Now, from the depths of despair, she merged with a purpose, founding the Share Foundation, an organization dedicated to illuminating the futures of bright yet disadvantaged children. Lily has become a beacon of hope, lighting the way for those in need. There is more in today's edition of Stories of Hope.
All right, okay. When she's ready, she'll call you.
Meet Lily, a compassionate soul whose life took an unexpected turn. In her youth, the world was her oyster. Her dreams were as vast as the sky. Eager and thirsty for knowledge, she traveled abroad for her studies and was poised to take on the world after her studies. But fate had a different plan. A tragic automobile accident changed the course of Lily's life, leaving her paralyzed. The world she once knew seemed distant and challenging.
I went to school in Datus Taba. I went to Holy Child. I went to UCC and then traveled to Scotland to work and then do some studies. Then I returned from Scotland and then I was working with American Field Service, and on my way to work I was involved in an accident.
For 7 long years, in and out of the hospital, Lily grappled with the reality of her circumstances. The hospital became her second home as she nursed herself back into good health.
I'm receiving therapy in between and then receiving treatment and then undergoing surgeries. I can't describe it. Some days I'm up, some days I'm down, some days I don't want to do anything. It's a cocktail of emotions. It's not sad or every time, not happy every time. Sometimes angry, sometimes disappointed, sometimes depressed.
Her brother Ernest describes those moments as very challenging for the family as well.
It affects me because there are places I would have wished her to go herself. There are people I would have wanted her to see herself, but like you are saying, she finds it difficult, one, because of her situation, two, because she is very emotional.
It was in those moments of solitude and reflection that Lily found her purpose. Supported by her pastor and some dear friends, she founded the Share Foundation. The Share Foundation aims to light up the lives of brilliant yet needy children, providing them with the necessary support to navigate their education and actualize their dreams.
He helped me to start with identifying the needy but brilliant in the schools, register them, and then the teachers and the head teachers, they were able to organize the pupils for me. And we had volunteers who came to teach them. And then we organized the exams, they marked them, and then we chose the beneficiaries who had excelled.
Jonathan Kwanzaa is one of the beneficiaries of Share Foundation. Lily helped fund his education, from basic school to the tertiary institution. Before that, he had no hope of completing school.
When my dad was alive, everything was okay until I lost my dad when I was in P5. That was where the hardships began. So I had to stop schooling. And there was this teacher who said, why am I not coming to school again? So he asked one of my friends to come and invite me over. And then when I went, she was like, why am I not coming to school again? I was like, my dad is no more. My mom can't afford the fees. So I can't continue schooling. Then she was like, I'm good, so she can help. But only up to JHS. And I was like, okay. So she started taking care of me from class 5 to classes. So when I got to JHS 1, and then Share Foundation came in to take over.
Jonathan now has a degree, but he's hungry for more knowledge. So he's back to school, upgrading his skills in ICT.
They've taken care of me till tertiary, KTU, from JHS, right from JHS to SHS to KTU. Yes. My plan is to bring the other beneficiaries on board, and then we see where we continue from Auntie's legacy.
18 years on, the foundation has blossomed into a haven for underprivileged children, a place where dreams are nurtured and futures are carved.
Some of them are working, and others are happily married with kids. So I look at them when we settled, when they were in JHS, and then 18 years later, where they are, and I'm happy. I'm very fulfilled seeing them moving up and then doing well in life.
Hundreds have been touched by Lily's dedication, love and kindness.
And that's a true story of hope. Catch Lily's story on social media. Just find it on Joy News or Joy 99.7 FM, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, also on TikTok and Instagram. You find the full story there. By the way, listen, the NSMQ is back. And Papa Nyashale is here with details of this. It has been launched finally.
Yes, Evans, it has. And at least in the beginning, we'll have 117 schools at the prelims that will progress finally to meet some of the big shots that, I'm sure your school, Accra Academy, is one of those schools.
I didn't go to Accra Academy.
You didn't go to Accra Academy?
Oh, no. Goodness me. My friends who went to school with me will be filming right now. I went to the only proper school in Accra.
In Accra?
In Accra.
No, they don't mention it. They don't mention it.
And we are winning this time.
Well, all the best to you. There's the reigning champions Prosec Legon, and they've already said that, they're hoping to extend their winning streak. But Evans, this year, 7 private schools will be taking part. The likes of Sunrise will be back in the contest this time around to make it fair, to make it balanced again. But if you are listening as well, you are wondering, what is in it for these schools? There are about more than 100,000 cities up for grabs, and the winning school is going home with 70,000 Ghana cities. Second, 50,000, and then 35,000 for those that come third place. I hope that your school is able to grab any of those. But definitely the question on the minds of many people is, who's going to win? Wait.
We'll see. This is where you want to be for everything NSMQ. And by the way, we want to catch that story about the Savannah Security Council's opening a probe into the circumstances leading to the devastating floods that displaced thousands of persons in the central Golden District on social media platforms, also on myjoyonline.com. Enjoy the rest of the evening.